Welcome back to a new GCSE math video. In this video, you are going to learn how to solve quadratic sequences. Quadratic sequences are almost the same as linear sequences. However, the numbers increase by a different amount each time. So, let's see with this quadratic sequence. This from 9 to 13, you have to add 4. From 13 to 16, you have to add 6. 19. From 19 to 27, you have to add 8. You see that they always increase by a certain number. And this certain number is 2. And you can call this certain number the second difference. And this second difference is very important. So, for this question, you have to write down the next two terms in the following quadratic sequence. So, what would the next value be of this sequence? So, the second difference is 2. So, 8 plus 2 is equal to 10. Therefore, you have to add 27 with 10 to get 37. This is the fifth sequence, and then you have to add 2 again with 10 to get 12. Then 12 plus 37 gives you 49. 49. So this is the answer to the question. Okay, now let's move on. So, with this question, you have to find the next or the first 5 terms of the sequence. So to do that, you just have to plug in n equals 1 until 5 into this equation. So if when n is 1, which is the first value, so n represents the value. So the first value is n, when is n equals 1. So 1 squared plus 2 multiplied by 1 is 3. So the first value is 3. Then you plug in 2, so 2 squared plus 2 multiplied by 2 is equal to 4, plus 4 is 8. That's 8. And 3 squared is 9, plus 6 is 15. Then 4 squared is 16, plus 8 is 24. Then the last one, 5 squared is 25, plus 10 is 35. And you can see that this is a quadratic sequence because you add 5 first, then you add 7, then 9, and then 11. So you add 2 each time. Okay, let's move on to a more harder question. So now you have to work out the formula of the nth term. The formula is the most difficult part. And here, the second difference comes into play. So first of all, you subtract 4 to get from 19 to 4 to 15. Then you subtract 6. Then you subtract 8. So the second difference in this case is negative 2. So the first step to calculate or to find the formula of the nth term, you have to halve the second difference. You have to halve it. So, negative 2 over 2 is equal to negative 1. Then you plug it then you put this value, the one you got from this, as the coefficient of n squared. So here is going to be negative n squared. And the coefficient is the value that you put in front of n squared. So in this case, it's going to be negative n squared. And then you write down the equation that you get from the n squared. So the equation for negative n squared, so is, of course, negative 1. When n is 1, 1 squared multiplied by 1 is negative 1. So, and then 2 squared, negative 4, negative 9, negative 16, and so forth. So now that is the equation. And how do you go from this equation to that equation? You have to subtract this equation from that equation. So 19, 15, 9, and 1. Subtract negative 1, negative 4, negative 9, and negative 16. So you subtract them. You get negative 20, negative 19, negative 18, negative 17. So now this is the equation that you have to get, or this is the sequence that you get when you want to find the what is the difference. So this sequence is the difference between these two sequences. And as you can see, this is a linear sequence. You add 1 every time. So now you find the equation of this sequence, and then you can plug it into the n squared sequence of this that you found before. So to find the formula of a linear sequence, you have to watch my other video. However, it is not that difficult for this. So first of all, we want to do 20 minus n. 21 minus n, because n increases every time, and because it increases, it should be, it should not. It should be n minus 21. Because n increases every time, so when n is 1, it's negative 20, when n is 2, and c, eventually it increases to 0. So this is the sequence of this. Now this is the formula for this sequence. So now let's plug it into the n squared sequence we got before. So that's n squared plus n minus 21. So let's check if that is correct. So what is the first term of the sequence? That's 19. So when n is 1, it should equal to 19. So when n is 1, it should be 1 squared negative plus 1 minus 21. Okay, so 1 squared, negative 1 squared, we must have done something wrong somewhere, because this is not adding up. So it should be, look, so always you have to look back if something's not adding up, and then you can find the mistakes you did earlier. So this is a mistake that I've done, and I'm sorry for that, but 19 minus negative 1 is in fact 20, not negative 20. Then you can remove all of these negatives. So in fact, it should be minus 1. It should be getting smaller. So then this is wrong. It should be 21 minus n. Because as n is getting bigger, this value 21 is getting smaller. So as n is 1, 20, 2, 19, and so forth. So therefore, we can just swap these values and plus, and now try again. So this has to be a minus, and this has to be a plus. So what's negative 1? So it's 1 squared, negative 1. What's negative 1? And then plus 21, which gives you 19. So this is the correct answer. Okay, so let's move on to the final question. So we have to find the nth term of this sequence. You can try it yourself, so pause the video right now and see if you can answer it. Okay, so welcome back. I hope it was easy for you. However, if you didn't get it, it's also fine because I'm gonna explain it to you right now. Okay, so what is the first difference in this to the sequence? So first you add 4, then you add 8, then you add 12. So this is the first difference. Then what's the second difference? Add 4, add 4. That's the second difference. And now, what was step 1? To halve the second difference. So 4 over 2 is equal to 2. So that's half of the second difference. Then we place it as the coefficient of n squared. So this is the equation we have to now write. So what is 1 squared multiplied by 2? 2. What is 2 squared multiplied by 2? 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. 3 squared is 9, 18. Okay, 4 squared, 16 multiplied by 2, 32. Okay, so now what is the difference between these two equations? So you have 2, 6, 14, and 26. So first of all, you have 2, 8, 18, 32. So now you subtract these two equations from each other, and you get 2, that's 0, 6, negative 2, negative 4, and negative 6. So the difference here is negative 2, negative 2, and negative 2. So what is the nth term, or the formula of the nth term of this sequence right here? You start at 0 and go down each time by 2. Therefore, you have to do something, which is, okay, ignore that. So, to make it easier to find the nth term of this sequence, you can make it positive. Okay, so what's the nth term of this sequence? You have n, which starts at 1. You want to get it back to 0. So, that's minus 1. However, when it's 2, it's not correct. So, how do we get that? You have to find the difference, which is now 2. You place it in front of the n. However, not n squared now. Now you put it in front of the n. Just n. And then so 2 multiplied by 1, you subtract to get by 1. 2 multiplied by 4, subtract 2. So in this case, you have negative 2n. How do you get from that to 0? You add 2. So this is the formula of the nth term of this sequence. So now let's put it into the 2n squared we got earlier. And let's see if it's correct. What is the nth term when n is equal to 1? So the first term should equal to 2. Let's see if that's correct. What is 1 squared multiplied by 2? 2. What is 2 multiplied by 1? Also 2. So you could actually just cancel these two out and then add 2. So you get, and 2 is the answer. So now you know that this is correct. Okay guys, thank you for watching. If you still don't understand, please comment down below and I will make another video on this topic. Thank you for watching and on to the next one.